One of the things that really amazes me is that the name Jesus, in reference to the Son of God, is nowhere in the Old Testament. And almost half the Christians, people who claim to be Christian, worship Jesus Christ as Almighty God. And yet, he's not even mentioned for 4,000 years of human history, from Adam to the birth of Jesus Christ. His name isn't even mentioned. I find this incredible. In fact, nowhere in the Bible does anybody pray to Jesus, in the Old Testament or the New Testament. And yet, people say he is Almighty God. Moses never prayed to Jesus. Abraham never prayed to Jesus. Moses didn't even say the name Jesus. How come? Lately, I've been wondering if Jesus, when he was in heaven, before he came to earth, was even named Jesus. If Father, who's known as Jehovah, called Jesus by a different name. If you think about Abraham, he was originally named Abram, and Jehovah changed his name to Abraham later in his life. And if you think about Jacob, he had his name changed to Israel by Jehovah. So the first mention, as far as I understand, of the name Jesus is when the angel Gabriel told Mary, the Virgin Mary, that she was going to have a son and his name will be Jesus. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think that is the first mention of the name. So I was wondering if Jesus was going to be taking on a new role, and then he would take on this new name. It's just something I'm throwing out there. Maybe it's just an idea. But still, what really surprises me, amazes me, surprises me, is that Jesus isn't even talked about. I mean, aside from the countless prophecies about Jesus, but he's not referred to as the Son of God. Am I wrong about that? If you can show me, people were looking forward to a Messiah, but did they understand that Jesus was actually going to be the Son of God? Until Jesus himself said it. Jesus himself claimed it. But were they in anticipation of this Son of God? And did any of the early prophets and righteous people understand this, about this concept of Jesus Christ being the Son of God? Is it talked about anywhere? Did Moses ever talk about God's Son? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David. There was this anticipation for this future king, but what about him being God's Son? I'm going to read to you Isaiah 9, verses 6 and 7, because this seems to be the only, the strongest verse talking about Jesus Christ. And it still doesn't mention him as God's son. Maybe I'm missing something, that I'm forgetting something. If somebody can correct me on this, but I'm going to read it to you. It says, I'm reading the New World Translation. For there has been a child born to us, there has been a son given to us. It doesn't say God's son. There's been a son given to us, and the princely rule will come to be upon his shoulder. It says princely rule, but he's ruling as king. And his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father. This is interesting. A son is given to us. He's going to be called Father. Prince of Peace. These are all these names that he's going to be called, but it doesn't say Jesus. So did anybody in the Bible know Jesus, and why not? Was the Father, Jehovah, keeping him this secret or this mystery? And why? And people say that Jesus is Almighty God. Who is this secret God? Why was he secret? Verse 7 continues, to the abundance of the princely rule. And I find this strange. Why is it princely rule? He's a king. And to peace there will be no end. Upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, in order to establish it firmly and to sustain it by means of justice and by means of righteousness, from now on and to time indefinite, the very zeal of Jehovah of armies will do this. If you have some answers for me or ideas, I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much.